guys, I'm Aveline and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all having an amazing day. So today we are building another tiny house, and this one is built on a 40 by 30 in Windenburg. It's supposed to be for a musician, so there's a couple of music instruments in the house. I've been doing these sort of career themed tiny houses lately, and I really wanted to do one for a creative career, even though I've also done a writer's tiny house. Maybe I should go for something completely different as the next one. So far, I've done a house for a teacher. I've also done one for a writer, a detective as well, and now a musician. So I don't really know what the next one that I'm going for is going to be. That was a very weird sentence. But I'm definitely going to do more of these because I like them. They're a lot of fun to do. And they're also tiny houses. I love to build tiny houses. But today we are building this one for a musician. So it's built on a 40 by 30 in Windenburg because I wanted to do something a little bit different with the landscaping. I've done this before a couple of times, I think. So basically you have sort of like a hilltop and then you put the house on the hill. And for this one, I decided that I actually started out wanting to add a staircase to the patio, but I felt like it just looked off. So instead, I kind of made sure that you can walk upstairs to this there's an opening, there's a bit of the patio where there's no fence, so your sim will be able to enter the house with that little bit. I put a staircase there right now as well. So there are staircases on the hill leading up to the patio, and then your sim can step onto the patio there. So you actually enter by walking up the hill in this one, which I like how it looks too, and it was fun to do as well, even though it took me ages to place down the staircases and stuff, or the stairs, but it was worth it. So I'm also super excited to get my hands on the ladders at some point, because we saw in the eco lifestyle trailer that we are getting ladders, and I think for a house like this, or possibly a tree house or something like that, ladders would be so good to have, so I'm super excited about those. Also, just to be able to build two-story tiny houses a little bit better, because staircases take up so much space. Like, they take up at least 3 or 4 tiles or something. That's a lot when you're building a tiny house that can be max 64. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And that's including patio as well. Also, at some point, I do mess up the roofing just a little bit. So it says that we are just under 100 tiles, but I do fix it because I realized I was on a call with a couple of friends at the same time as I was building this. So I was slightly distracted for a little bit there, but I did fix it. I noticed that I did the roofing wrong and I had to redo it with some fencing and stuff, but it's all good. It's so that I could make sure that there was a wall trim, because the roofing does look a little bit funny as it is right now, and I just needed there to be some kind of detail to kind of, I don't know, it's just the side of the roof. I don't know how to explain it. It just looked off to me, so I had to do something just to fix that. And also, if you're wondering how I'm pulling out the eave, because I did a luxurious tiny house a while ago where I actually pulled out the eave. And you basically you pull out the eave like you usually would, so you can elongate the eave. Is that a word? Anyways. But you do that by pulling on the small arrow instead of the big one, because if you pull the big one, you'll just extend the whole roof piece. But if you pull the small arrow and then hold shift down, you'll only pull on one eave. So both sides of the roof, like, it'll only count for one side of the roof. You saw me do it at the start, so hopefully it makes sense. But you just hold down shift and then it won't pull on the other side of the roof as well. Am I making sense right now? I don't really know how to explain it without showing it in real time, but I also don't want to do a roofing tutorial right now, so hopefully it made sense to some of you. You know how there's a lot of different, especially with roof pieces, there's a lot of different arrows that you can pull on. If you hold down shift or alt, it'll actually do different things. So just try your way, like try different things. Always try to swap between shift and alt and get a feel of what the different keys do as well. And I know that if you pull the whole roof piece up and down and you hold down alt, it'll be smoother, so it doesn't stick to the increments. Is that the word? I don't know why I just started singing, but what I meant was, I think it's called increments, because when you pull the roof up without holding alt down, it'll kind of just stick to these different steps. But if you hold alt down, it'll be a lot smoother. So you can try that as well. It's like, it's the same if you try to move items in the game. If you have bb.moveobjects on and you hold down alt, you can basically just place the item wherever you want to, so it won't be stuck to the different squares in the grid and stuff like that. Also, if you want to remove the grid, press G. This is not a tutorial video, but now I'm on a roll, so hopefully I said some things that some of you understood and also learned a few things. I don't really know. So for the interior, I actually really wanted it, because usually with a house like this, I don't have room to make a dedicated bedroom and then a dedicated living room area and also put in a dining room area. So I usually like leave one of the things out, and it's often the living room. But for this house, I was set on making sure that they had a small living room area. So I actually fit in a 2-seater sofa, a 2-seater couch, and they also have a TV over in the corner. A very small TV, but there is a TV. And a lot of plants as well. A lot of patterns in here too. And I also try to add some color, but not like overly bright colors, although definitely went for some bright colors in the bedroom, but not here in the living room slash dining area slash work area slash kitchen. There's a lot going on in this small room right here. But yeah, so this is the common room, as you'd call it. Also, I do want to point out, I did place 2 chairs here, but the bed is actually only usable for 1 sim because the dresser is blocking the other side, so you can't actually get to it. You'll see that in just a little bit. I did play test it so that I could make sure that either it was working or it wasn't, and it turned out it wasn't working, but I couldn't really place the bed elsewhere. And I also wanted to make sure they had a dresser, because whenever I build tiny houses and I don't leave in dressers, I always get comments from people being like, why do they not have a dresser? Where do they store their clothes? And I'm like, you can use the mirror. The mirror does the same thing. But I've been trying to be better at leaving in dressers. However, it's blocking the other side, so you'll either have to teleport over there if you want 2 sims to live here, or just have a single sim living in this house. So even though it is a double bed, it only has room for 1. So their little work area is over here on the left side. I gave them a keyboard, and I think they also have 2 guitars, actually, probably 3. I think I placed one on the patio as well because I wanted them to have this little cozy corner on the patio with a lot of plants and a lot of candles and stuff. So also, by the way, I'm so excited to get my hands on the candles from Eco Lifestyle too, because I love candles and we need more candles. So I'm really excited about that. I was reminded when I said candles, because we don't have enough candles in the game. Like, we just don't. We have one that is from the Diwali update, so it's technically base game, but it comes with the holiday update. We also have one that's City Living, or we have a couple from City Living, but one of them is really big. It's the one with the three bottles that they've turned into candle holders, which is really cool, by the way, but it's a little bit big. And we also have one from Dine Out, I think. And other than that, I don't remember any other proper candles. Oh yeah, there's another one from the holiday update as well. That's actually also 3 bottles they've turned into candle holders. I like that one too. It's a little, like, it's less chunky than the one from City Living. But we need more candles, because candles are amazing. I love candles, so I'm really excited to get my hands on those. Oh, that's why I keep using the tray as well from Tiny Living, because first of all, it's a very Scandinavian thing to have a tray on your, coffee table, for example, and then you have books in the tray and a couple of candles, maybe a plant or something. I have it on my own coffee table. I have a round tray with 2 plants and a candle. So yeah, I keep using that one as well, but we need more candles. And also the bathroom in here, I did play test it. It is fully functional, so you can use the shower if you want to, even though the shower makes your sim uncomfortable. It is what it is. I couldn't add another tile, or I possibly could. I can't actually see how many tiles I ended up using. Probably, is it 62 or 64? I don't really know, but it is what it is. So yeah, the shower, unfortunately, even though it's really good for tiny houses, it does make your sim uncomfortable, which kind of sucks a little bit, but I still use it quite a lot for these kinds of houses just because you can like walk through it, which is amazing for tiny houses because it doesn't take up a tile, which is good. And then also, if you're wondering how I made the bathroom, it's actually inspired by one of my good friends, Simarki, because she made a 1-tile bathroom. So she basically took a toilet, placed it on the left side, and then she took a sink and she sized it down and placed it on the right side, so you can have the sink and the toilet right next to each other. And even though you sized down the sink, it still works, which is pretty amazing. And then you can decorate with a mirror or a toilet paper holder thing as well, and you have yourself a little bathroom. So out here on the patio, I decided to give them a barbecue area so they have enough place to actually invite friends over or family over, and they can sit out on the patio on a good day. Probably not when it's snowing in Windenburg, but on a good summery day, they can sit out there and enjoy some food. I also gave them an easel just because I figured it would be nice for them to have something else creative to do instead of just playing music. So they have that on the patio as well, and then the lounge area that I was talking about before, which I think I did already. I might have talked over it. I can't really see, but I'm pretty sure I did the lounge area before the barbecue area was done. So other than that, we are doing some landscaping. So if you're wondering how I managed to place down plants on a hill without them floating, because I often get questions about that when I do these sorts of houses that are on hills and I've used the terrain tools and stuff. I often get questions about, like, the landscaping especially. Why are my plants not floating? Why are the trees not slightly floating or something? Basically, I always make sure to... That's why I don't have plants all over the hill either, because I don't like the look of floating plants. It bugs me. I don't like it. I know you can kind of cover it up a little bit, but just the fact that they're floating annoys me. So I always make sure to flatten out a little area where I decide I want to put plants right there in this little area. So there is one of the tools with a terrain tool set that will let you flatten out an area so it'll like stick to one height. The cursor won't jump up and down, it'll just stick to one height. And I use that tool right there, as you can see, just to flatten out the area underneath the plants. So that is basically how I do it. Again, it's one of those things that is not super easy to explain if you're not doing it in real time. And I'm going through the different tools with you guys and you can see them right away on the screen and stuff. But I'm not ready to do a terrain tool tutorial. And I think I've also seen other people do them, so it's kind of been done already. But that's basically how I fixed the floating plant issue. I just used that specific tool. I don't remember what it's called, but it's one of the ones with a square in the middle. So yeah, and then other than that, I felt like there was something missing over here on the right side. So I decided to give them a pond, like I usually do when I have a big area, like a big lot with a house on it, and there's just too much green. I definitely often just throw in a pond, just like add a pond. It'll take up some space. It adds a little bit of a different color too because it's not green. I just like the variety in different, I don't know how to explain that. I just need there to be something that's not just green grass. So a pond is always a good thing. And then we're decorating it like I usually do with a lot of sized up rocks and some bushes and some stuff like that. And there's a couple of flowers too. So it's a pretty basic, pretty normal pond for me, to be honest, even though it's very small, but I was having some issues, like I couldn't make it bigger because of the hill, and I didn't want there to be a very steep, I didn't want the hill to be very steep. Did that make sense? I don't know. But that's basically why it's so small and over in the corner. There had to be something. So anyways, I'm kind of toying with the idea of trying to build a house into a hill, but I'm not really sure on how to do it just yet. I need a little bit more time. So, and I know saying that some of you will probably leave suggestions for that or on how to do it in the comment section. I actually don't watch tutorials just because I like to, it's been like this my whole life. I don't know what it is, but I just like to figure things out on my own. So I'm gonna be figuring that out at some point when I have time again. Also, expect some more smaller builds over the next couple of weeks. I do have 2 bigger shells that I want to have fully done and uploaded and stuff before Eco Lifestyle comes out at the start of June. So those are both in Willow Creek. Actually, one is a 50 by 50 and the other one is a 40 by 30, but both are quite big. So it'll take me a while to do them. And other than that, I think I'm mainly going to stick to smaller houses just for a while because I know that as soon as Eco Lifestyle comes out, YouTube goes a little crazy. So I'm going to be fully on that. And yeah, my full focus will be on that. Also, like updating the save file and everything for those of you who will be buying the pack, there'll be a new version out of the save file at some point as well. So I'm super excited about that too because it's the first like updated version of the save file I've done. I have been working on it a little bit. I haven't done an update video for it yet, but I have added more households to the save file and I think I added some stories to it and stuff like that. So it's a little different compared to the January version, but there'll be another updated version once Eco Lifestyle is out. So a couple of weeks after that, I think I should probably have had time to build a lot of houses for it and stuff like that. So yeah, looking forward to that. But anyways, we are getting to the end of this video, I think. I'm just adding some light bulb chains. Also, I'm losing my voice. What is that about? Please stop. I'm adding some light bulb chains up here and some fairy lights, and I think that is actually about it. So if you guys like this house, you can download it off the gallery. My ID is AvelineYT, and you can also find it under the hashtag Aveline or AvelineYT. And as always, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember to like and subscribe and all that good stuff if you did. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye!
When I'm down, and that's just one of many things that makes me believe